Hello everyone, I'm John with But Why Tho, a Geek Community, once again talking about some of the biggest and coolest video game news this week. Now I'm going to be upfront with you, this is the 6th time I have tried to record this today. If you know anything about me at all, by this point you should know that I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. But this is the last time I'm recording it today, so because my voice is starting to go, so if I make any mistakes going forward, we're both just going to have to deal with it. Now, if you know anything else about me at all, you know that I love Square Enix for the rich, decades-long catalog of timeless classic games, especially the ones they refuse to re-release. Square, please. And in 2007, they released one of my favorites, a new IP called The World Ends With You on Nintendo DS, in which Neku Sakuraba and friends are forced to participate in a game that may ultimately cost them their lives. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. The battle system used many of the unique features of the DS, including combat that takes place on both screens, and attacks performed by certain motions on the touchscreen or by shouting into the microphone. And I can confirm to you that shouting swear words into the microphone does nothing but irritate your roommate at 2 a.m. Elements of Japanese youth culture such as fashion, food, and cell phones are key aspects of the missions. Now, the game saw a re-release on smartphones and the Nintendo Switch, which obviously eliminated the use of a second screen, but looked great and held up pretty well for the most part. The World Ends With You has a huge cult following, myself included, who have begged Square for a sequel for over a decade. And after years of pleading and rumors, Square has finally delivered with the announcement of Neo, The World Ends With You, which really kind of misses a huge opportunity to call it The World Ends With 2. I mean, come on, it writes itself. Slated to release in the summer of 2021, Neo The World Ends With You, God, I am not looking forward to that acronym, will release on Nintendo Switch and, interestingly, the PS4, and I assume it'll be playable on PS5 as well. The game will apparently leave behind its touchscreen and microphone past by moving into a fully 3D, action-oriented JRPG set in Shibuya once more. See, I screwed up right there. Got my words mixed up, but we're going to push forward. Although the series maintains its distinct visual style and retains composer Takaharu Ishimoto, which is a great thing because that soundtrack is absolutely incredible, Neku and friends are nowhere to be seen. Instead, this new game will follow new protagonist Rindo, I think I'm pronouncing that right, as he and his allies are drawn into the Reaper's game. Now, we don't know much beyond that, but I and others remain incredibly excited for a new The World Ends With You game and look forward to hearing more in the coming months. This past week also saw the launch of Shadowlands, the eighth expansion in the long-running 16-year-old MMORPG World of Warcraft. Now, I don't play World of Warcraft at all, never have, and probably never will. The only things I know about World of Warcraft is that orcs don't like humans don't like orcs, and Leroy Jenkins gave the world a legendary meme that I don't think anybody really uses anymore anyway. So that being said, I asked around. I have a lot of friends who play World of Warcraft, and the general consensus seems to be that the expansion makes some much needed changes to the DNA of the game with more of a focus on quest variation while streamlining the story into a much more linear and focused experience. Previous expansions were met with varying levels of satisfaction, and while you can't please everyone all the time, it's good to see the World of Warcraft fanbase reinvigorated and excited about the new direction Blizzard is taking this storied franchise. There's another interesting aspect to this as well, and I want to quote an excellent article written by Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz, in which she interviewed executive producer John Haidt and lead game designer Morgan Day. A very interesting interview in which they spoke about how they are still building on World of Warcraft 16 years after launch. And as Day says here in the article, there were a lot of challenges along the way. As you can imagine, changing everyone's level and touching essentially every creature and spell that we've ever made in World of Warcraft is what was required to make this work. And it was a tremendous undertaking by the team. But so far, the community reaction has been really positive. We've been really excited to see the stories of people who are checking out World of Warcraft for the first time and hear the feedback of how leveling from 1 to 50 feels so much more manageable now. Rebecca goes on to write, "The leveling changes dropped a few weeks ago with the pre-patch, even though Shadowlands proper didn't launch until next week, and Haidt says he's seen an increase in the number of brand new players coming into the game since. He adds that he saw a similar increase in new subscribers when World of Warcraft Classic launched last year, indicating that interest in the original version of World of Warcraft transcends nostalgia. While perhaps no expansion has had quite the sweeping impact that Shadowlands has with its leveling adjustments, all 8 have added new areas, characters, stories, gameplay mechanics, and often even classes or races on top of everything that's existed before in the already massive world of Azeroth. She asked Height and Day if they ever find that new expansions end up encumbered by what has existed before, or if the game's long live history ever makes it challenging to change or innovate. And in response, Height says that to Blizzard, each expansion is equivalent to a major game release, and the team isn't afraid to scrap features from previous expansions to keep the game from having far too much weight and complexity. He isn't worried about being limited in what they can do by having to build on what's come before, rather he thinks it is beneficial to have a heritage of content. Excellent work by Rebecca, and you can find more of her articles at gamesindustry.biz. And that's not all the MMORPG news this week. Sorry, I had to actually bring the slides back up. I screwed up again. Oh my god, this is the worst. Square Enix dropped more information on its upcoming 5.4 patch titled Futures Rewritten, which launches on December 8th. With it comes more mainline story missions, a new trial in the form of Final Fantasy VII's Emerald Weapon, critical updates to the Maw class, and the conclusion to the Eden Raid storyline titled Eden's Promise, which will wrap up the raid's narrative regarding Rhine and Gaia. The future of patch 5.4 will include the final chapter of the Ishgardian Restoration, the continuation of the Resistance weapons quests, and new content for the Bozjan Southern Front. Additionally, the Final Fantasy XIV announcement showcase was revealed and will take place on February 5th, at which it's speculated we'll see the next major expansion for Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, I really struggled through that one. I would record it again, but I'm so tired, guys. It's been a long day. It's been a longer week, and I just want this to end. So that's all I have for today. Remember to tune in next week, same time, same community, same channel. Take care of each other, and please don't judge me too harshly. I'm only human.